thing that gets lost in a lot of these conversations is the advice to someone who's just starting, right? I think especially in the print versus web versus digital, how many skills do you actually expect people to learn? Are you going to code and you're going to design and you're going to understand all the mechanics of print? Like, especially for this room, like, what guidance do you give to someone who's just starting?
Be curious. Like, that's such an overlooked quality. If I have two candidates in front of me and the one person who is actually curious, and that's different than like preparing a few interview questions in advance.
Biggest pet peeve in an interview.
Curious.
Biggest pet peeve. What questions do you have for me or about our company?
Yeah.
And they like
none.
done.
Or really canned
Done.
ones, like, like curiosity is important. Like, I really need to know this person's curious enough to keep learning. I'd so much rather hire someone that says, I don't know everything. I know I don't know everything. I probably never will know everything. But I can promise you that I'm curious and I'm willing to learn. And I would like the opportunity, please, and thank you. That is the person I'll hire any day of the week. So.
With social media and the internet, you can really get a deep dive into some organizations, at least perceive what a deep dive into some organizations' cultures are, and find the ones that you just can't not work for, And it shouldn't be one, because that's not good odds. But find those that you really want to work for or learn more about, and join local organizations and network like crazy. Because even if you don't end up working for them right away, you may eventually.
And they might know somebody, like if you have a hero, like you're like,
world.
yeah, like if you have a hero, they might not have time for you, but they know someone who might have time for you. And also, like, designers aren't rock stars. Like we like to have people write us occasionally. Like, we don't get fan mail all of the time. Like, so like if we get a fan mail, we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like,
My first job was horrible, but it was perfect. I was in the back of a print shop, horrible office. The lady only hired me because I think no one else wanted to work for her. And what was amazing, but I didn't realize at the time, at lunch break, I would go on press checks. And
so absorbing
I had this amazing,
Yeah.
technical, but it's because I took a job at a place that, would have me.
well, that's a good point, because I remember my first job, I cried when I got out of college, because I was like, this isn't where I want to work. And I remember my mom was like, Heather, your first job might not be your only job. So like, just like your first boyfriend, it's not going to be your last boyfriend. Like it's okay. But a lot of designers like, I'm going to hold out for that dream job at Pixar or like wherever it is. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be there.
Yeah, and by the second I worked there, I was like, okay, I'm committed. I'll stay. I'll try to stay for a year, just because I felt I owed it to her. She was taking a chance and investing into me. And I picked 15 firms. And after about 6 months, I felt like I was kind of familiar enough with them and I started, kind of going after them. And it took a year in like 2 months. And I got a job at one of them, and I was just more prepared because I had some experience. And I think that, although I think you should try to work for the firm that you want to, you should try to work along the way too, whatever form that takes.
If you really want to be a designer, like, you just need to go and make as many connections as you can with people, be naive, make mistakes, and ask questions like crazy, and just be shameless. Don't be embarrassed. Like, that's the number one thing. Like, expect to be embarrassed. Like, expect to be foolish at that moment, because of course you are.
I feel like if you're not embarrassed, you're not trying hard enough.
Exactly. Like, you need to embarrass yourself and your whole career. Like, every moment in your career, you need to be embarrassed.
When we have interns, we tell them that, like, hey, listen, we're gonna basically throw you in the fire and kind of figure out what you know or what you don't know, and we'll help design a program around to help you fill in those gaps. But you got to be honest, and you got to be willing to do whatever.